everyone for joining us. Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional custodians of the land. For me here in Sydney, this is the Gadigal and Wangal peoples of the Aurora Nation. I'd like to pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So with this in mind, I will be passing it on to Sarah Proudford, Director of National Recruitment at ABS. And she's going to walk you through the sort of data stream, which is very exciting. So I'll share my screen and I will leave it to you, Sarah.
Great, thank you, Jeremy. So yes, as mentioned, I'm the Director of National Recruitment at the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and we are leading the AGGP data stream, hoping that we can really pique your interest today and that you will apply. Next slide, please. So a bit about the AGGP data stream, and you'll hear this today if you're visiting other booths and hearing about other streams. With one application, there will be multiple opportunities for you. In the data stream itself, we currently have 23 agencies interested in data graduates, and there's over 170 data roles on offer. In terms of locations, roles for the data stream are available in all capital cities: Geelong, Newcastle, possibly Townsville. Most, though, will be based in Canberra. You should also note that capital city roles may be located outside CBD. So for those of you who might live in New South Wales, some of the roles such as the ATO might be in Penrith rather than in the central city district. Salaries start between 60,000 to 73,000. That's before superannuation. And you'll find that all of the data agencies are looking for people who to fit into permanent ongoing roles. So the benefits of the data stream is that it is a permanent role. You will undertake the formal graduate development program of the agency that you're recruited to. One of the really exciting things for this data stream, is that the ABS is currently about to start developing a data development module. So as a 2022 cohort, you will have the opportunity to participate in that. It will be in addition to your normal program. And the module we're not exactly sure what it will cover because we're still developing it, but it will be to help develop some of those data capabilities. There's also lots of networking opportunities across the APS. For the data stream in particular, there is already an existing and well-established data graduate network, which includes not just people from the previous data graduate streams, but from a number of other agencies as well. We are also looking at trialling this year with the intention to expand next year some rotational opportunities, so to gain experience in an agency other than your home agency. Next slide, please. A bit about the mechanics of what it means, what you need to do to apply, what the process is going to look like. So on the right-hand side, you can see the dates. Currently, applications are open and they close the weekend after Easter. Assessments will happen throughout April to July, and we'll advise you of outcomes in that July-August period, and you'll start in February 2022. One of the things that the ABS has been doing, and I believe other agencies do, is that candidates who are found suitable may be offered early starts as a non-ongoing employee. This is based on the candidate being available, for the graduate being available and wanting to start work a bit early, the organisation and business area having work available a bit early, and also having the funding. The ABS, I think in that last year, maybe about 20% of our graduates started early. I'll note that whether you can start early or not has no reflection on how you'll be assessed throughout the process. In terms of eligibility, you need to be an Australian citizen by the 30th of June 2021. You will have need to have obtained a bachelor's degree or higher in the past 5 years. You'll also need to undergo pre-employment checks. These will vary based on agency, with a minimum of medical self-assessment and criminal background check. to some agencies really looking at some high security clearances such as positive or negative vetting. I'd like to point out that in terms of the degree, we don't have any requirement in the data stream for a particular degree or discipline. So people who have undertaken, we're looking for people who have undertaken data subjects, ideally. They're the ones that are most likely to be successful. So the types of backgrounds that our graduates have come from in the past may be analytics, actuarial studies, data science or mining, demography, economics, engineering, mathematics, psychology, social sciences and statistics. So you can see there's a really broad range. And I'd just like to reiterate that we don't limit the degrees. It's really about the data skills that we're looking for. And I've just outlined there our assessment process. I obviously got the numbers a bit wrong. I didn't check that. So we do online application. We'll do some AI shortlisting, a video interview and a personal interview, and then a referee check. Next slide, please. Hopefully you're getting excited about what your career next presents to you. And I've added a few tips and tricks here in terms of applying for jobs. And these don't necessarily apply just to graduate jobs or just to the data stream. They can apply to a whole lot of other jobs you may apply for as well. In terms of application, I always recommend to start early. You don't want to be at the last minute and realise that you need all this information or you need to think about something that you haven't thought about before. Also, use 75% at least of any word count if you're given it. We find that candidates who don't do that just don't demonstrate well enough their capabilities. They're just not competitive as others. So use at least 75% or more of the word count. Start early. With the data stream, there is a section in the application of to respond to 10 multiple choice questions. They require a bit of research. The answers can all be found on the ABS website and by the use of simple calculations. You definitely don't want to leave it to the last minute though. In terms of resume, so another tip is to don't have it any more than 2 pages. It's likely that panels won't read more than that. Also, you want to make sure that you're demonstrating that you can write succinctly. I've had over 20 years experience in the private and public sectors, and my resume is 2 pages on the dot. How I get there is that I really tailor it to the types of jobs that I'm going for. So I make sure I put in the most relevant and important information. I also have a little line there because obviously I can't cover everything that I've done. I say, if you want to know more about any particular role, please let me know. With regards to interviews, know that the panels want you to succeed. And with us having over 170 data roles, we've got lots of opportunity and we definitely want lots of you to succeed. When you do go to an interview, whether it's video or face-to-face, make sure you dress professionally, you smile and make eye contact. In terms of dressing professionally, I have seen some candidates on video interviews turn up in a singlet and someone with a super messy bedroom. So make sure your background's clear and clean as well. And what that does, it suggests to the panel when you don't dress professionally or you haven't made your bed that maybe you're not that interested in the job. Also, it can be very distracting and you don't want the panel thinking about, well, why is that person wearing a singlet, or what's been going on last night with the bed not made. You really want them to focus on you. And so make sure you dress professionally, and the smiling and making eye contact is about having a bit of connection, again, to show that you're interested and also to help make that connection. In terms of overall, a few pointers. Answer the questions asked. I've seen some candidates at application who have a fantastic resume, a great transcript, and then they just simply don't answer the question that we've asked. So this says to me that, again, they're either not interested or they can't follow simple instructions. We also can't assess you if you don't answer the question that's asked. Make sure that you use examples and the STAR method. So in terms of examples, even if you're asked a theoretical question, try and back it up with a real example. So if you're asked, how would you manage conflict in the workplace? You can give the theoretical, but then back it up with an example of how you've actually done that. And the STAR method is a really good way to outline the elements that a panel is looking for. So that's, what's the situation? What are the tasks? What are the actions you took? And then really importantly, what were the results? What difference did your actions make? A couple of other tips is prepare examples and don't reuse an example. Last year, we saw candidates use the one example throughout the process, even when prompted at times, and it didn't demonstrate to us that they had a good breadth of experience, even though they probably did. So how do you avoid that? Is to prepare. One of the things I do, I love a great mind map. So I will look at the selection criteria and say, right, communication, and then I'll list all the examples that I have against communication. Finally, use examples that set you apart from other candidates. So one of the examples that we see a lot of that is pretty unmemorable by the time you see a lot of them is the university assignment, group assignment, particularly when talking about conflict or challenges. So I feel that everyone's been through these, but it's not really memorable unless there's something really unique about it. So try and use examples that will set you apart from your work experience. If you're doing volunteering, so church or sporting or other communities. Next slide, please. So what we're looking for, obviously we're looking for strong data skills, such as analysing, telling stories, visualising data, how you wrangle data sets or you manage large data sets. We're also looking for communication skills, interpersonal skills, research skills, and the commitment to the APS values, which I've listed up there. When you do your application, you will be asked to select from one of 3 data streams. So data analyst, data science, and statistical methodology specialist. So this will be what you feel you might be most suited for. It won't lock you in though. So my team will look at, are you best suited for that one based on the information you've provided, your transcript, the degree that you've done. So we can help move you into or keep you in the right stream. They are the most common job roles that we'll be looking for as well, though there will be other data roles that will be offered through this, such as data acquisition officer, data engineer, data manager, data consultant, geospatialist specialist. So there are a huge range of data roles. Next slide. I've just put up here, I'm not going to list them all, but these are the participating agencies at this point. We've grouped them into specialist, regulatory, policy and larger operational. So you can see the breadth of organisations that we're working with. If you're interested in any of these particular agencies, hopefully they've got a booth here today. ABS definitely does if you're interested in a bit more about the ABS. And you can hear a bit more about their graduate program and ask questions. If you have any more questions about the data stream though, you can go to the streams booth after this presentation. Thank you very much. That's it for me today.